Acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that enables thought, memory, and movement. When people talk about brain chemicals, acetylcholine rarely gets the attention it deserves. It is not trendy, it is not dramatic, and it is not usually linked to motivation or pleasure. But without acetylcholine, you could not think clearly, form memories, focus your attention, or even move your muscles. In fact, acetylcholine was the first neurotransmitter ever discovered, and its discovery changed neuroscience forever. To understand acetylcholine, we need to start with its history. In the early 20th century, scientists were still debating a fundamental question. Do nerves communicate using electricity alone, or do they release chemicals? In 1921, a German pharmacologist named Otto Lowy performed a simple but revolutionary experiment. He took 2 frog hearts and placed them in separate containers filled with fluid. He stimulated the vagus nerve of the first heart, which caused the heart rate to slow down. Then he transferred the surrounding fluid from the first container to the second heart. Remarkably, the second heart also slowed down. This showed that a chemical substance had been released by the nerve and carried through the fluid. Lowy called this substance vagus stuff, meaning vagus substance. Later, it was identified as acetylcholine. This experiment proved that neurons communicate chemically, not just electrically. That single finding laid the foundation for modern neuroscience and pharmacology. So what is acetylcholine? Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter involved in communication between neurons and between nerves and muscles. Unlike dopamine, which is closely tied to motivation and learning signals, acetylcholine is deeply involved in enabling mental clarity itself. It plays a central role in attention, learning, memory formation, muscle contraction, and the regulation of sleep and wakefulness. If dopamine helps decide what to pursue, acetylcholine helps you process information accurately once you are engaged. One of acetylcholine's most important roles is attention. Acetylcholine helps the brain focus on relevant sensory information and filter out noise. When acetylcholine levels rise in the cortex, neurons become more responsive to incoming signals. This improves signal clarity and reduces distraction. In simple terms, acetylcholine sharpens perception. This is why attention-demanding tasks, such as reading, studying, or listening carefully, rely heavily on acetylcholine activity. Without it, the brain becomes noisy, unfocused, and inefficient. Acetylcholine is also essential for learning and memory. It plays a major role in the hippocampus, a brain structure critical for forming new memories. High acetylcholine levels promote encoding, which means taking in new information. Lower acetylcholine levels promote retrieval, which means recalling stored information. This balance helps the brain avoid confusion between learning something new and remembering something old. Disrupting this system leads to memory problems. This is why acetylcholine is so strongly linked to conditions involving memory loss. One of the most important clinical connections involving acetylcholine is Alzheimer's disease. People with Alzheimer's show a significant loss of acetylcholine-producing neurons. This contributes directly to difficulties with memory, attention, and learning. Many Alzheimer's medications work by preventing the breakdown of acetylcholine, allowing it to remain active longer in the brain. These drugs do not cure the disease, but they can temporarily improve cognitive function by boosting acetylcholine signaling. This highlights how essential acetylcholine is for normal thinking. Acetylcholine is not only involved in cognition, it is also absolutely necessary for movement. At the neuromuscular junction, the connection between nerves and muscles, acetylcholine acts as the chemical messenger that tells muscles to contract. When a motor neuron fires, It releases acetylcholine onto the muscle fiber. This triggers muscle contraction. Without acetylcholine, voluntary movement would be impossible. This system is so precise that even small disruptions can cause serious problems. For example, in myasthenia gravis, the immune system attacks acetylcholine receptors, leading to muscle weakness and fatigue. Acetylcholine also plays a key role in sleep and consciousness. During waking and rapid eye movement sleep, acetylcholine activity is high. This supports alertness, dreaming, and cortical activation. During deep non-REM sleep, acetylcholine levels drop. This helps the brain disengage from the environment and enter restorative sleep states. In this way, acetylcholine helps regulate the rhythm between waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Here are 5 clear examples of acetylcholine in everyday life. First, when you focus on a conversation in a noisy room, acetylcholine helps sharpen the relevant sounds and suppress background noise. Second, when you study new material, acetylcholine supports the encoding of new memories in the hippocampus. Third, when you recall information during an exam, changes in acetylcholine help shift the brain from learning mode to retrieval mode. Fourth, when you move your hand to pick up an object, acetylcholine enables the muscle contraction that makes the movement possible. Fifth, when you dream during sleep, acetylcholine helps activate the brain regions involved in vivid imagery and narrative experience. There are also some important facts about acetylcholine that are often overlooked. Acetylcholine was the first neurotransmitter ever identified. It is used in both the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. It acts on 2 major receptor types, called nicotinic and muscarinic receptors, which have very different effects. Nicotine mimics acetylcholine at certain receptors, which is why it strongly affects attention and alertness. Acetylcholine is rapidly broken down after release, allowing extremely precise control of neural signaling. So what is the big picture? Acetylcholine is not about pleasure or reward. It is about clarity, precision, and control. It helps the brain decide what information matters, how clearly it is processed, and whether new memories are formed. It enables thought, attention, memory, movement, and conscious experience itself. If dopamine motivates you to act, acetylcholine allows you to think clearly while doing it. And without acetylcholine, the mind would be noisy, unfocused, forgetful, and disconnected from the body.
If you enjoyed our channel, please click subscribe.